Hey guys, welcome to the Overnight Coder. This video is normally not something I do. I just wanted to cover some of the channel comments. So we had Daniel Kramer post something, and I just wanted to get back to him in an easy and reliable way. Well, I figured most of you guys can probably relate to, what does CrocoBlock do versus Listing Pro, especially after my last video. So some of the different things that you can do with a feature comparison of the features of Listing Pro that can be done with this solution and not CrocoBlox, right? I don't want to talk about, and not Listing Pro. I don't want to talk about what like Listing Pro can't do, because we're all familiar with the scenario, right? We know what Listing Pro can do. So while I should have been focusing on free videos for the CrocoBlox setup, what I actually did, and I'll show you, was I created a course on it, right? I'm not asking you to check out the course, but let me just show you inside of the course. We have these different options, right? It's setting up the environment basics, how to create, and all of these videos is pretty much the reason you haven't been seeing the new content on my channel, because all of these are unlisted videos that I did specifically for the course, and these go on and on, as well as the things that we've done in the chat. So I am going to run over some features that I like, and that I will also show you some features that I'd like to check into. I just haven't personally used them, right? So I will answer a few of these questions real quick. You need them to be able to see clicks and how many leads. They can definitely do that. You can definitely send messages to the user, direct contact form, so we're not lacking anything, right? We're only gaining things. There was a time when the only thing that I was missing was the radius filter, but with the new Jet Engine 3.0, you can actually set up a radius filter as well. And that was like one of the main things, or one of the only things, that Listing Pro had that CrocoBlox did. But now, again, they implemented it about 2 weeks ago after trying it in the beta, and I'm super excited about the functionality there. So you can moderate listings. Leads need to go to listing owners and the admin. We can do that. Normally, they don't go to the admin with Listing Pro, but with this custom solution, you definitely can. And then reviews. You can definitely moderate reviews. You can choose to pen reviews. You can choose who can do reviews. And again, with a static theme, a lot of times you're just set in what it can do. So for migration, we say, hey, an easy way to migrate from Listing Pro to your website solution. It's not as easy as it sounds. What I've been doing for existing clients is exporting listings. I still have to create the custom site. Let me jump into it and just show you what I mean, because again, I don't know that this is for everybody. Some people are not going to want to create different bits and pieces. Now, the first thing is you have to create pretty much everything. So you design a style and layout. And what I mean by that is I went into header, right? And or I went into Elementor and I said, hey, I want to create a header. And I called it header, and I designed this. I drug in a logo, I drug in a menu navigation, I created the top bar. This one obviously has a little bit of styling from Gradient, and then I drug in authorization links, and I also just have a text or a button here. So that was just one part, right? Think about the footer. I also had to create that. So keep in mind, for those people that are just like, oh, I need to launch this now, definitely not a solution. For people who are looking for that long-term run, that perfect website that you can upgrade into later, let me show you a couple of the features. So a couple of the things were, I could create my own card, right? And when we say this, if we're comparing it to Listing Pro, which I really don't want to do, but I'll use that phrase a lot, Listing Pro gives you a couple cards. It's Listing Grid or Listing Style, and those are preset with some options. With this, I have the ability to go into Elementor, create a listing card, what I want it to look like, add the features that I want it to look like. And granted, take a look at this. I also create all those from scratch. So what information would you need as a business owner? Some of the things are basic listings need, basic listings need business name, business website, email, opening hours, frequently asked questions, business location, and that sort. So I went into first, and I'll just show you a little bit of how this works, is I first went into post types and said, hey, I want to create a post type. That is something here on the left. So you're going to see I have listings, I have events and demos, I have adventures, But let's just check out listings. So if you're creating a business listing website, and then inside of that, I had to say, hey, so I want to call it listings, the slug I want to be listings, and then I want to add all these different things. First thing is your general settings. I want the title. I want an editor, which is usually like the general information about a business. I want the thumbnail or the featured image. And then for me, I want to show the author, and mainly for the back end, right? I want to be able to see who the author is. If you don't have this, check, no big deal. And then I went through and I created all the fields that I would like to ask. So for real estate, MLS number, things like that. Now with Listing Pro, you can do that with custom fields, but those show up on the right or at the bottom of your page, however you set it up. And you don't have the flexibility to use that everywhere you want. So think about mine, right? Mine, I have a couple different things. I was like location, a video link, image gallery. But then, this is where it got cool. I actually separated mine into 2 separate categories. And yeah, you could do that with just like categories, but I have riding locations, which is a specific card. And then I have shops and schools, which is a limited card. If I were to go into this, I also have another shops and school card. Notice this one didn't look like the first one or the second one. This was a third style that I chose to create. What about, going back to the homepage, what about some of the other things you can do, right? So I also have an adventure card, right, with my adventure questions. More importantly, I want you to see something. When you go in there, we're going to go back before that page loads. So again, the custom freedom. So what I did was I have 2 tabs in here, and I'll show you what they look like first. Not to get, I don't want to overwhelm anybody with like the possibilities, but if you were to go in here and you're adding from the back end, which a lot of times we won't do, I have the general questions here, and then I have 2 choices. Are you a shop and school, which is a business, a brick and mortar place, or are you a riding location? And the riding location would ask fun questions. For example, shop and school, you've got your basic shop questions, right? No, we're all familiar with those. And then you have the taxonomies that you created over here. But riding locations is kind of specific to my niche. It's when there is the best direction for the wind. Give me a full description about that. Are there restrooms? Should I wear a wetsuit? Are there showers at that location? What are some cons about the spot? And again, I just went on with the questions that I wanted to ask. Now, again, you can do that with Custom Fields with Listing Pro, but here's the plus. We can utilize that in whatever design we want. So here, while I could have done sidebar stuff and been like, I chose to do a quick look card up here that gives you that information. So if I was going to the 520 Slick, I can see immediately what they have. You know, it's like, oh, there's no showers. Is that a problem? I'm bringing the kids. You know, so it was a real quick method of utilizing that wherever I wanted to utilize it. Now, keep in mind the same layout. If I went over to shops and schools, this was a riding location. If I went over to shops and schools, now I could have done 2 different separate layouts. But you'll notice a similarity. But this one is a little bit different. It doesn't have the quick look, and it has a phone number and a website, as well as a contact us box that goes to the owner, and just some different setups. I'm also able to control, just because I scrolled down, nearby riding locations. What should be a nearby riding location? It should be anything in this area, right? And here I was able to do that. I'm able to set up the closest riding locations, or for you guys, it's going to be related business listings to that business. And now I can also choose to hide this on specific information. So maybe I hide this on anybody that sets something up for free or that pays. You know, so again, 100% flexibility there. Excuse me. As far as, I don't think my dashboard is 100%, but as far as the dashboard, you can set up your dashboard any way you want. I mean, you can see I've got views here, status. I can edit, I can delete, I can do anything that, you know, the other setup can do. And again, there's so many more methods that you could integrate. One of the cool things about it is you create the idea, and you do have to think a little bit about the way you want it, right? So it's not a preset theme. Matter of fact, to show you, I'm using the Hello Elementor theme, which is one of the faster themes on the market. It comes with absolutely nothing. So again, you create the little items. If I were to show you how easy it is to use, check this out. So anything I want to edit on the page, I've already created this stuff, but maybe I just wanted to edit something. So I'd say, hey, I want to edit the riding location. Matter of fact, you know what? Let's go to the full out card. I'm just going to go to the search all page. But some of the things you have to think about is, do you want a big map? Where do you want that map? Do you want a small map? Do you want it in the side? Do you want, what filters did you want to sort it by? And again, I've done a really good job with just my filters here that will allow me to filter through the list. But your site does not have to look like this, right? There are, I don't want to start pulling up other clients' site before I planned that and had gotten a few pages that I was okay with showing. But you can do blocks, you can do grid style across here and have your filters in this bar. You can literally set up what you want. I'm about to jump into the features just so you can see just a taste of them. But what were we? Post types. Oh, we're editing. So if I wanted to edit this card, I've already have it on the page, but I want to show you how easy it is. Once you set up the card, you utilize that card in any way that you want. So I'll show you the card. I can edit the listing card. More importantly, let's jump to the archive. So the archive page is this page that I've created. And of course you can have multiple archives, and maybe it's just for riding locations, maybe it's just for shops and schools, that you can see I do up here. More importantly, you have to design this page as well. And it's not building, it's dragging and dropping, right? I had to create filters, I had to drag them in, I had to style them with my font, my text. But what about the archive? This is one of the things I like. So how do I want to sort these, right? So I just dropped in the grid. I'll show you what it looks like, grid. I drug it over here, and when I edit on it, it has some things that I can do, right? What grid is it? So I pick my grid that I've already set up. It's columns of 1. I want to show 10 with a load more by click. And it was that easy. The fun thing is when you start getting to your queries, right? I am using on this site because they just updated, and they didn't update. It's gone into legacy now, which is still usable, but they actually have a query builder, which I am really digging, because how do I want this to show up? Well, I actually have some things in here that show how I want it to show up, and it's by order and offset. I want to sort it by order and a character number. And the reason I did order was because on each one of these listings, I have a number. So if you submit a listing for free, it's 0. If you submit a listing for $9.99, it's 1. If my buddy signs up and I'm really trying to promote his business, I can put 99 in here. So I currently am setting up that by order. Some of you guys would be setting them up by a taxonomy value of a business plan. I want a premium business plan to show up first. And then you can also go in there and say, not only that, I want to create another one, and I want to do random. Well, the good thing about the query builder, I want to show you a little bit about that, and then we'll get into some other details. But the query builder allows you, and I've been using this a lot too, allows you to create like a whole complex system, right? So maybe I can reuse this, right? So where would I reuse this? I'd reuse this on the home page, showing 4 of them that I like, but only showing things with an order or a business plan higher than this. I can choose 3 on the home page and do it random. I can do latest. I can do, whatever your mind can think about. With the query builder here, let me just give you an idea. So listings test, we're going to do a post query because it's talking about post. The post is listings. Perfect. And then post status, I want all the published listings, right? But if I was using this for my backend, I could do pending listings or all listings. That way people can see pending listings as well. How do I want to sort this? All right, I come in here and I can sort it by any one of these options, right? And maybe a real popular one for me is random. I don't need this field here, but I'm just going to select something. I can also put in a new search field, right? So I want to order it also by something else. Now for this case, I like to order by random, but then I like to set the values that I want. Do I want to sort it by meta value, or like one of the things that I just showed you, all of these are meta fields, and then these would be considered your term fields or taxonomies, so anything that you've created here. You guys are used to category, right? Business category, but you can create as many of these as you want. So with that being said, when you come over to your query builder, you can also sort by those as well. And I like it because you can preview the results. So right now I'm doing listings. I just see the 24 listings that are on this demo site. No big deal. And they're in no order other than random. But if I were to come over here and say, hey, tax query, and I just want to get the taxonomy for category, the field, I want to do name, and then I say it's riding locations, not shops and schools. I now have 16, and again, they're in random order. But that was just one of the taxonomies, right? What else could I do? I mean, by date. So if you're doing events or something like that, you can have them on the fall off day. And again, there are so many different options that you can come in and say, hey, you know, I want to do this. So anything you're thinking of, you can really, I mean, you can sort that list and reuse that list. Where else would you use that list? I'd use this, if they were cards, not this one, but like if they were cards, I'd use it in a sidebar. I can display 2 cards here. I can display them at the bottom of a blog post in any format that I want. So really digging those features. To sum up this video and not carry on about all the custom stuff you can do. Oh, one more thing. What about your flow? So this is going to control, like, I don't like putting WooCommerce into many sites, but if you needed it, right, or if you can't find a third-party gateway plugin for payments, this is an easy solution, right? You throw in WooCommerce, you let them check out there, and then redirect them to your submit page for that type of listing. And you can do subscriptions. There's not a payment processor that I don't know that hooks into WooCommerce. The good thing is there's a bunch that don't need WooCommerce. I'm using WP SmartPay. I've used MemberPress for like trial settings where you get 7 days free and then we start charging. I've used a bunch of different, just single plugins. WP Simple or Stripe Simple Payments. That's another one. I think that one was free. Where if you're just using Stripe, why have all the fluff, right? So Stripe, it was a checkout button. It was routed back to the site with a redirect, and everything was good. So the cool thing about it is you also choose your flow. It's not a predefined flow. So I had to sit back and think about, how did I want this to be set up? You know, and a lot of times it was on paper and you know, with a pen. For me, I want somebody to sign up. I want them to pick a plan. I want them to check out immediately. And then I'm worried about the credentials that they want to put in for their business listing. For Listing Pro, it was like a 7-step checkout, right? It's pretty nasty if you look at it. And I just didn't want that. I control exactly the way I want people to sign up by creating it, right? Think about the workflow. Well, first it's a pricing page. From that pricing page goes to a payment page. From that payment page, it goes to a submit listing page, and that's it, right? So that's limited what I wanted, right? That way people can't bail halfway through. But again, that was just my solution. Shoot, my mind just jumped. Features. I'm not even using all the features here. Let me just take you through. We're not even gonna read anything, right? But if I was just looking at pictures, here's a perfect example. So you have all the basic features, but here are a few that I haven't used, right? So jet booking, I've used it, but not to its full potential. Just pictures here, take a look. I mean, you have the ability to book. You have the ability to sell. You have the ability for pricing orders. So for, you know, rental companies or anything like that, I mean, you can include this. We can choose to include this on some listings and not choose to list them on others. And this is just one of the features. And, you know, that you're not going to have to pay additional. Reserve a time kit. You both don't need it, right? This is just something that you could integrate into your website. I implore you to look at this, join their Facebook group, and kind of just get an idea of all the different things and the ideas that you could do, right? And I definitely wouldn't install all these plugins, but the cool thing about it is these plugins, you'll notice they all have the word jet in front of them. They're not going to break when you have 15 or 10 of them all on your site. You know, these are scheduled to integrate together. So there's just so much that you can offer. The forums, you do have to build the forums as well. You know, so I'll give you a preview of that, and then that will pretty much be it for this video. Again, my idea wasn't to bore you. It was just to show you the things that you had asked. Jet Form Builder is the form builder in here, and you definitely have to create that form from scratch. You know, and it's like, hey, what questions did I have already on the listing? So the first thing is business name. It's as simple as this, business name, right? Bam. So I have a text field. I can add another one, right? And then I call it another text field. Or matter of fact, I call it a text area because they can fill out a description or whatnot, right? I'm going to drag that above my submit button and label those as well. When you're done with this, you define the information. Let me just put that in there. General information. So once you get done with your form, and again, you can set it up in columns and style it and do all that, then you have to come over to this tab and say, hey, what do I want to happen with that, right? And you would simply come down here, and this is to answer one of your questions. The first thing is, I want to send an email. Who do you want to send that email to? Well, I want to send it to myself, right? Or somebody custom, or to both users, right? And you can do those types of things. This will be like, hey, you have a new order on your website. Do you want to show all those fields, or do you just want the information? So that's the first thing. The second thing, what else would you like this to do? Well, I actually need it to submit the data, so we're going to call that insert and update post. And if you edit that, it's like, okay, where does this post go? So first off, it's a listing. The post status is, well, I want it to go into pending because I want to review them. I don't want them just public. The post ID is the post ID. The business name is the post title. And then general information is the post content, right? And I would update. And now it is ready to go. What else would you like that form to do? And of course, this is where I come back and I'm like, well, I don't want it to just stay on that page. I like to redirect to the dashboard. So here I am redirecting to a custom URL or a page, and I say, hey, this is I want you to go here. And again, it's the, look at these, it's the flexibility to kind of do what you want to do, which makes it super cool. I hope this answered, let me just double check, I hope this answered all of your questions, but I mean, we can jump on a discovery call if you're just kind of wanting to ask questions. I can be like, yep, or anything else. So make sure you book some time with me. It's free on my booking form if you choose the top option. So features comparison, and I can't go down the comparison features because again, this is a solution. It's not a theme. It literally, you're creating what you want, right? And you got to see a little bit of that. Especially the listing owner dashboard. Okay, we covered that. We covered listing edits. You can definitely do that. For leads, to go to the listing owner and the admin, that's not a problem. That was the, I don't have it open. This is not a problem. So in mine, for testing, I usually, so obviously it goes to the admin email, the email that the person submitted. I'm sorry, the contact email that I added for, let's take a look. Contact email, so when listing owners put in something, they have a contact email, and then that is who the form goes to. But I've also BCC'd that form into the admin, that way I can keep track, even though you guys know with Listing Pro or with Elementor, you can actually find your submissions under Elementor submissions. So is that necessary? Yeah, I still want the email notification, but check this out. This is all the form content that's been sent through that form. 156 items. So yeah, I could visually go in here and view them if I wanted to. Some of them aren't going to make sense because they're to a business. But as you can see, this email went to somebody other than me, and then the hidden email also goes to support boarding. So yeah, you can definitely do that. For leads, reviews, where can I moderate them? Yeah, sure. So if you're back here, you've got Jet Reviews, so I've got a whole tab for that, right? And this one, oh, that example, I don't have any reviews, but yeah, they would show up right here. There's so many different things you can do with those reviews. This is the page where you could actually unapprove, approve, and then even set up your own reviews. Like right now, mine are based on star ratings and reviews, but you could do a multi-review criteria and have like 5 or 6 questions in there with ratings. And again, you control all that. If I was to edit the fields, you'll be able to see this is a star rating review. It increases by 1 and the max value is 5. And again, look how, I set this up. Maybe it's by 10 and you're doing 100. And maybe it's percent, who knows, whatever you want to set up there. So again, I think that's it, reviews. an easy way to migrate. And I mentioned this, but one more thing. You create the site, then migrate the content. I use WP All Import. I did need the Pro version, so just the $99 version. If you get the course, I'll help you out with that. But if you don't get the course, just know that to get all the custom fields, you'll definitely need the Pro version. So no scariness there. But when I imported, I don't have it. When I imported, I definitely needed Pro just to see those custom fields. So enjoy. And again, if you have any questions, hit me up. All right, thanks.